What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Valley Ball Podcast, breaking down UTRGV Vaqueros football in their inaugural season. My name is Brian Ramos.
And I'm Ivan Palacios. And hey, Brian, 2-0, baby.
UTRG Vaqueros 2-0, man. Let everybody know. You know what I mean? Putting the college football world on notice that UTRGV Vaqueros are here and they're here to play. And they're coming off just a really impressive week two win. Ivan, I mean, of course, we talked about it last week. I gave it before that little preview on the last episode of what to expect UTRGV going up against their first Division One opponent in the Prairie View A&M Panthers. And Ivan, I mean, they pull out a 27-21 win on the road in Prairie View, hostile territory, hostile environment, up against you know what I mean, a band and a nice fan base there in Prairie View, and they passed the test with flying colors, 27-21 win, and they had to earn every bit of it.
Yeah, Brian. I mean, I was able to watch the game online. You got to be there in person, and what a game. It started off hot, and we'll dive a little more into the game action. But I just want to comment on the people that went out there, man. It's good to see the Valley fans travel. Coach Bush kind of talked about it a little. Coming out and seeing the players, or just seeing some fans out there. You didn't know what to expect as far as the Valley travels, but. Hey, we've seen it in high school football. Now we got some people driving out there. It's just exciting to see, man.
Yeah, one thing he said was that it was just there was a little sea of orange. You know what I mean? The away stands weren't fully packed by any means, but hey, man, there was definitely a nice chunk of orange there, and the fans showed out, man. The Valley's travels, and I know people in that area. There's definitely a bunch of players on the team who grew up in that area, have family in that area. So another good opportunity for their family to see them without having to travel all the way down here to the Rio Grande Valley to see them. And but now they'll have a chance to see them these next 2 weeks, man. UTRG Vaqueros return home after a trip on the road, so they'll play their next two games at Backer Stadium. But Ivan, I mean, UTRG Vaqueros. Before we dive into that Prairie View game, I mean they're 2-0. Just your impressions on their start and what they've been able to do here early on.
I think you couldn't have asked for a better start for either of this team, man. I mean, obviously you open up with that 66-0 win, but then to see the way they played, the resiliency to be on the road and be able to come back and win that one, just what an amazing job by UTRGV early on. You've seen the best of both sides. You've seen them in a blowout, you've seen them in a close game already. So I think what a start for Coach Bush in this program, and to all the haters out there, man, we're 2-0. You guys want to complain. First, it's Solross State, and oh, now it's not a good. Hey, man, we're winning. That's all that matters. It's our, first year here at UTRGV. We're 2-0, and it's just exciting to see the program that Coach Bush and everyone there involved has kind of put together early on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, building anything from scratch is hard, and I mean, hey, man, it's college football, man. It's hard to win a single game. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you're playing. It's football. You still got to line up, put your hand in the dirt, and you know what I mean. Battle for for 60 minutes. And I mean, UTRGV has done that through 2 weeks, man. I think that first test against Prairie View, that Prairie View is an established program that's been around for years and very competitive, and pulled off a very impressive week one win over the rival Texas Southern. And for UTRGV to go into their house, first Division One opponent, a rain delay. You know what I mean? That the game was scheduled to start at 6 o'clock,
Right.
didn't start till 6:52. So that's another little bit of, you know what I mean, a little bit of a
Little mental
curveball.
thing there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to your first road test, what are you going to look like? And that Prairie View team, man, they had some size on them. They had some really good athletes, really good players, and you know what I mean. Former FBS and D1 guys. Like, it's Division One football, man. It's no there ain't no pushovers at the D1 level. You know what I mean. All these guys were some of the best athletes wherever they, you know what, wherever they come from. So. And ain't nothing given there at the D1 level, man. Everything's earned. So UTRGV definitely earned that win. So we'll get into it, man, and dive into this win over Prairie View A&M. And Ivan, man, you said it, man. You mentioned it in the write up that went up immediately after the game. UTRGV picked up right where they left off in their week one win against Sul Ross State, coming right out of the gates firing.
Yeah, man. I mean, quick 17-0 lead for the Vaqueros. I mean, I don't think anyone really expected that. We wanted to see it, obviously, but they were firing on all cylinders. 16-yard touchdown pass from Eddie Lee Marburger to Tony Diaz. We ain't gonna talk about whether he was in or not. Like I didn't see nothing. It looked like a touchdown to me. They called it a touchdown, so it's a touchdown, man.
It
And then
counted.
you got Bryson Gardner, 49-yard field goal, and then TJ Dement, man, the redshirt freshman coming in and making some plays. He had a touchdown last week, I think two last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And that's another one this week to give the UTRGV an early 17-0 lead. So that offense, man, we've seen the fireworks already, and to see it against a D1 team, it was very exciting to see, especially on the road, hostile environment. You mentioned the band, the crowd over there, Prairie View A&M, an established program. So just what a start for UTRGV. I mean, you were there, Brian. I mean, what were kind of your takeaways from that early start by the Vaqueros?
Yeah, when the way they started out so hot, it was kind of like, yo, this is too good to be true. You know what I mean? They can't just they're not just gonna do what they did to start us against Prairie View A&M, are they? And then you know what I mean? It's a game of football, man, and that coaching staff has guys that are in the lab as well, just like UTRGV does. You know what I mean? And UTRGV had that upper hand early. They came out hot, looked unstoppable for about a quarter and a half, and then there in the second quarter. Kind of lost a little momentum, and as Coach Bush said, they feel there were about two quarters where they didn't play their best football, and that stretch was from the middle of the second quarter, about the middle of the second quarter to the middle of the fourth quarter. Which I mean, it ain't about how you start; it's about how you finish, man. And luckily, UTRGV able to battle some adversity, and after going up 17-0, they had another field goal there in the second quarter. But Prairie View A&M quarterback Cameron Peters gets in on the ground. I mean, the UTRGV defense, man, they weren't giving up much. You know what I mean? It took Prairie View A&M a few tries to get going offensively. They finally do there in the second quarter, and then Ivan, it was 20-7 at half, and then in the third quarter, I mean, you kind of felt the momentum shift, and things start to sway in Prairie View A&M's favor.
Yeah, and I think that sway came from that change in quarterback. We're not too sure why they decided to change that up, but Tevin Carter comes in. I mean, he scores two touchdowns to give Prairie View the lead there. 1 yard touchdown run by Carter. Then he has a 3 yard touchdown run on in the fourth quarter to give them that 21-20 lead. And you can just kind of see things switch over a little. So now you start thinking, how does UTRGV respond? You get hit in the mouth. How do you respond is going to be the biggest question. And they're trailing for the first time heading into the first quarter. Offense had been struggling to move the ball after that, but UTRGV, man, what can we say about the way they came back? Eddie Lee Marburger, we've seen him do it before at the high school level. Now he comes back and leads, that fourth quarter drive. I mean, just talk us through it. They hadn't scored since 4:07 left in the second quarter, mind you. So, a bit of a dry spell, but I mean, you saw that last drive. I mean, just talk about the composure and, Eddie Lee kind of putting together such a drive that, just I don't know, man. It was magical watching that.
Yeah, it was definitely by the whole team. Yeah, and the one another reason why kind of UTRGV lost some momentum there, as Coach Bush said. I mean, I think the offense only ran 8 plays there in the third quarter. Defense is on the field. It don't matter if you're playing Pop Warner, junior high, high school, college, NFL football. If your defense is on the field for almost an entire quarter, you know what I mean. They're going to get gassed and they're going to give some stuff up. So it was a real gut check moment for UTRGV and their defense to be able to really buckle down. And man, when they had to make plays and make stops, they did in the fourth quarter. And you know what I mean? It's hey man, they may have put together a little surge there in the second and third quarter and early in the fourth, but man, that UTRGV defense was really able to buckle down for and keep them off the board to really keep it a one-score game when it was 21-20. You know what I mean? Because Prairie View had multiple chances to extend that lead, and the Vaqueros defense didn't let that happen. So they were really able to buckle down, find some things, and really come on strong. You know, they bent, but they didn't break, man. And you got to give credit to the UTRGV defensive line, man, for being able to hang in there. That Prairie View A&M offensive line had some big dogs on it. You know what I mean? It's D1 football, man, and there's some dogs. You know what I mean? Everybody's strong, everybody's big, everybody's got size and speed and all that. And the Vaqueros saw it in their first game against D1 opponent there in Prairie View A&M, and even though they slowed down there in the third and fourth, as we mentioned, they finished strong. So defense makes some big plays, and they're on that game-winning drive, man. I mean, Eddie Lee Marburger and Nathan Denny. I mean, they just really put kind of ushered that drive and really led them downfield behind the O line. And Eddie Lee Marburger had a couple good reads and um, found some openings on a wheel route to TJ Dement, and then finding TJ again in the right flat and found some openings. It's about finding openings in the defense, making them guard all 53 yard 50 football field 53 yards wide. It's about making the defense, you know what I mean, guard everything and every piece of grass. And UTRGV took advantage of those opportunities. And then when it came down to it, they put the ball in Nathan Denny's hands, and he had 24 carries, 114 yards, and the game-winning touchdown on a kind of little pitch around the left end of the Prairie View A&M defense, and to get in the end zone, give UTRGV a 26 21 lead. The extra point is good. They go up 27-21, and then Ivan, the defense, comes out there and does their thing. And Prairie View, yeah, it's a 6 point game. Prairie View A&M still has a chance to, if they can get downfield and score, they can tie and potentially take the lead. But that didn't happen, did it, Ivan?
No, sir. I mean, we saw this guy make the first play in UTRGV defensive history. He has that sack, and he makes one of the biggest plays of this early history that's being written in UTRGV. He chases down Chase Bingham and punches that thing out. The Prosser punch, man. Elijah Prosser forces that fumble with a minute 49 left, gives UTRGV the ball back to kind of, run things down. And just what a play, man. We've seen early on, this guy's a playmaker, dude. He flies to the ball. He's making tackles for loss as a DB. He's not a D lineman, he's not a linebacker, but he's in there. He's gotten sacks. He's making big time plays like that, punching the ball out. And you got to talk to Elijah too. So I mean, just what a performance by Elijah Prosser and the defense as a whole. But we got to highlight that one play because that play really put the thing. It put UTRGV in position to just kind of walk this one home. And after that, it wasn't just we're gonna go kneel the ball. They still had timeouts left. So just let's just talk about that final drive after Prosser comes up with that big fumble, punches that one out, and just the drive put together and just a big time run by the quarterback here, just to take us through that moment and that grown man run, as we like to call it, man.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Elijah Prosser, Peanut with the Peanut Punch. His nickname is Peanut. There's character from the Proud family that his uncle named him, nicknamed him after growing up. So I'm not going to include a picture here. There's a picture in the store. You can find it on rgvsports.com. But yeah, read all about Elijah Peanut Prosser and the Peanut Punch that he made to give UTRGV the ball back. And then, like you said, Ivan, when UTRGV got the ball back around the 40-ish yard line, and they Prairie View A&M still had all three of its timeouts, so the UTRGV still had to get a first down, or they were looking at a punt or a long field goal situation, or making a fourth down decision there, kind of in no man's land on that Prairie View's A&M side of the field. But it didn't get there. Prairie View A&M, of course, sold out to stop the run. First two plays are handoffs, and Nathan Denny gets stopped there. That sets up a third and 9. For UTRGV, and they need a first down. Prairie View A&M still has one timeout, so if UTRGV gets stopped on the ground, Prairie View A&M is stopping that clock, and they still have well over a minute and 40 seconds to do their thing. But Eddie Lee Marburger, he keeps the ball on. It looked a little bit like a read option, you know what I mean? But Eddie was keeping that the whole way. They were playing the defense. Coach Bush said it. Eddie told him that, I can get this. You know what I mean? Defense is kind of all zoned in on Nathan Denny and stopping him. And TJ Dement had a good day. Javensky Schlenbaker gets in there as well. But they were having trouble stopping the run. And when the game was on the line, Eddie Lee Marburger looked just like he did in high school, man. Quarterback run right up the middle. Breaking tackles, face mask, shaking off defenders. He broke the same guy's tackle twice on the play. And you know what I mean? That's a tough to do, man. And poor dude, you know what I mean? Missing two tackles on the same play, the same guy. But yeah, Eddie Marburger picks up the first down, rumbles for over 20-yard gain to put UTRGV in position to line up in victory formation, and that closed the door, man, on Prairie View A&M, 27-21 win by UTRGV. Real gut check moment for them down in the fourth quarter on the road, and they passed it with, you know what I mean, come out and pass with flying colors, man. So they were tested, man. They had to earn every bit of it, and I think they did that, Ivan. So just your thoughts on the way they were able to kind of, you know what I mean, kind of come through when it mattered most.
I think it's impressive, and especially for such a young team in sense of how long they've been together. Because I mean, some of these guys have the college experience, but when it's different when you're playing with new guys. These guys didn't play ball together last year or the year before, but for them to come together there down the stretch, make the plays when it counted, and really put together, a nice gutsy win there on the road. On top of that, their first real road test, first D1 opponent. I mean, just overall impressive performance by the Vaqueros. It wasn't pretty the whole game. There were some moments that I'm sure Coach Bush wished they could have back, and some plays that like, hey, this, at the end of the day, you come out with the win, and that's all you really want. It's back to the lab now, fixing those problems and get ready for the next opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just to run through the Vaqueros' final numbers, Eddie Lee Marburger finished 19 of 31, 260 yards and a tutty, and then he rushed for 6 carries, 33 yards, and then had that 27-yard run at the end to put things away. But Nathan Denny, I don't think we mentioned it, the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Week this week after rushing for 24 times, 114 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then he also caught 5 passes for 37 yards. So really showing that kind of dual threat ability out of the backfield, being able to complete well-rounded back because he'll put his nose in there and pass block as well. You know what I mean? So he can do it all, man. Former state champion wrestler there at Georgetown High School. Played 4 years at Yale, and now is here at UTRGV. So shout out to him, big performance. And as you said, Ivan, I mean Tony Diaz, he goes 6 for 121, 1 touchdown, and then Ismail Smith Flores 3 catches for 35 yards. And UTRGV, man, they were also a few plays where they were just a few inches away from hitting a big play downfield to Xavier Nolan, downfield to Kyron Lee, and that's going to happen when you play a D1 squad against Prairie View A&M. That's, you know what I mean, getting a good pass rush here and there and putting some pressure on you at the quarterback spot. And then UTRGV their first test, but hey man, they looked really good. And then defensively, Jaden Haygood, Spencer Rich, both guys with 11 tackles apiece. And then we talked about Elijah Prosser punching that out, and Elijah Graham was there on the fumble recovery for UTRGV. And shout out to the entire UTRGV defense for holding that down, man. That was a really tough challenge that, you know what I mean, they had to meet. And it was a real gut check moment when they were down and tired in third quarter and fourth quarter and everything swinging their way. The band getting louder, home stands getting louder, but UTRGV, they get it done, man. So shout out to the Vaqueros, 2-0. And Ivan, now we look ahead to week 3 as the Vaqueros will look to stay undefeated.
Yeah, you mentioned already they play their next 2 games at home, but up first, we got the Langston University Lions, and they are an NAIA squad. That's a mouthful right there, man. But it's another, you want to say a small school, but at the end of the day, this is a football program that's going to take the field and try to give UTRGV their best shot. Yeah, UTRGV is expected to win. Now it's like, you just got to go out there and do your job. So, Langston comes into this one 0-2. They opened against Grambling State, lost 7-55 in that one. Grambling State, another D1 opponent. And then you got Louisiana Christian last week. They played them in a tough one, 31-24. So, it's not Sol Ross again, but it's definitely, a game that UTRGV should win and they should improve to 3-0. But now it's also putting on paper. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago about when Coach Bush was at UTSA, they come and get upset a week after a big win. So it's time to put that week 2 win behind you. It's a big emotional win. Now let's take care of business here at home against Langston.
Yeah, and there is pressure. You know what I mean? Sure, it is a lower level opponent, but hey, man, you still got to come out and execute. And if you don't, it's a game of football, man. That weird shaped ball can bounce in, you know what I mean, many ways, man. And you never know how it's going to play out. So UTRGV really got to focus in, lock in, and put together 2 good weeks of football here against Langston and then Texas Wesleyan the following week here at Backer Stadium. But yeah, it starts 7 p.m. Friday, Ivan. We got to see that home crowd and just how uh, on fire that entire kind of area was. Edinburgh was last couple Saturdays ago, and now it's coming back. It's probably going to be another sellout crowd. It should be crazy. And like you said, I don't think UTRGV they got to focus on themselves and play good ball, and because they know, hey man, we were tested last week, and in a couple of weeks, once Southland Conference play starts, that's when it's really going to count. So they got to come out and execute. But Ivan, just your thoughts on Vaqueros returning home, playing in front of that home crowd. We saw just how on fire, how lit that place was, Vaquer Stadium, really all of Saturday from start to finish. Just your expectations on the Vaqueros coming home and what you expect from them against Langston, who is a lower level opponent.
Yeah, man. I mean, one, I expect the crowd to be electric again. I think the hype's just building now. You're 2-0, but you said with that comes pressure as well. So, I expect all the fans to be out there, and I expect Eddie Lee to have another big day. Last week, Louis Langston allowed 258 yards through the air. And against Grambling, they allowed 254 yards through the air. So the passing's there. And Eddie Lee's an experienced quarterback. He's faced D1 opponents, so it should be another big day for him. And the defense too, man. We've seen them eat these first 2 weeks. They've been in there getting pressure. They've been in there making plays, and I expect them to eat in this one too, especially feeding off that home energy. You felt that energy from the opening kickoff in week one, and I hope it's the same this coming week and all the weeks forward, man. Let's supporting this Valley team, man, and rallying behind them. So I expect another electric atmosphere from start to finish, and really from before the start. You mentioned the tailgate. We were there, man. That thing was popping from the moment we got there. People were out there, and hundreds and maybe thousands of people, honestly, just there as early as they could be, just out there tailgating and enjoying the show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Saturdays, shoot, man, they'll never be the same. And this first year, we got seven of them here. You know what I mean? We have one down, one home game down for UTRGV. This will be their second of seven home games they'll play there at Backer Stadium this season. But yeah, complete college football environment. I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting to see what UTRGV is able to do defensively. I know that they've done everything well, man. They've looked. Of course, you shut out Sol Ross 66-0. You shut out anybody. That's impressive. You know what I mean? I don't care who it is. And then Prairie View A&M, they scored three touchdowns. But I mean, I think all three of their touchdowns were short yardage situations. I think two of them might have been on a tush push, which I mean, you could ban that. You know what I mean? As a Cowboy fan that sees the Eagles do it, you know what I mean, 2 times a year against us, a million times a game. You know what I mean? But that's what it took for Prairie View A&M to score against UTRGV. So this defense has played really well. They've had some game-changing plays, a couple forced fumbles, you know what I mean, and fumble recoveries here and there, a few sacks to change games. But one thing they haven't done, Ivan, is get an interception yet this season. And I know that's one thing from talking to some of the DBs, talking to Coach McDonald. Coach McDonald has coached some of the best secondaries, and this UTRGV Vaquero secondary is good. They got players all over at all positions. You know what I mean? They kind of run a nickel with five defensive backs on the field, and they got studs all across the field, but no interceptions yet. And once they start coming, they're going to come in bunches. And I think I'm going to call my shot. I think we see one here in week three. So yeah, the UTRGV. Excited to see what the Vaqueros look like. Another opportunity for a bunch of guys to get in games. Some of those Valley guys to, you know what I mean? We saw it week one, man. A bunch of guys getting in action, and these guys put in the work just like the starters. You know what I mean? So another opportunity for UTRGV to perform well and pick up a big win here at home, and allow everybody to see some action. So I mean, your thoughts on that opportunity that presents itself for UTRGV to you know what I mean? Get win big at home and get a lot of guys into games early to see some of those freshmen, redshirt freshmen that are on the team putting in the work as well.
Yeah, I mean, week one, like you mentioned, I think it was maybe mid third quarter, or even I think it was from the start of the third quarter. We started seeing some of these guys like Aiden Jacobson, some of these, Makai Blue and guys on the line, stuff like that. So I think it's a good way to get these guys reps that haven't played football in over a year, and hopefully we can see that these next 2 weeks at home. Guys like Atzel Chavez, Fabian Garcia, the running back, Jamal Pauly got in the first week. So just getting these guys these reps that they've missed out on these past couple of years. It's different when you're just getting reps in at practice. Obviously those matter, but nothing will ever compare to actual real life game day reps. So I think it's a big opportunity for the Vaqueros to get these early reps, especially with it being the first year. You want to get these guys as many reps, especially with conference play here looming. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from that conference opener on the road, so good time to get these reps. It's also a good time to get that offense kind of rolling. You kind of mentioned this earlier, or we touched on it before the podcast, and you know it, how oiled up is this offense going to be for that first conference game,
Mm.
especially if you're not playing full quarters, at least first couple games. So every rep matters for this offense, whether it's the first team, second team. You need these guys to have those reps on the field and kind of getting in sync with each other, especially being such a younger squad.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You got to be in game shape because you know what I mean. There's nothing replicates it. You know what I mean. There's nothing like you know what I mean. 4 quarters of football and UTRGV. If they do win big as suspected, these next couple weeks, um, you know, yeah, they will go into Southland Conference play, having only played one full game. But that's one thing that you know what I mean. You hit conditioning extra hard, hit practice extra hard, and then hopefully once Southern Conference play rolls around, you've seen enough in those you know what I mean up against these next couple weeks from your team to know, hey man, once Southern Conference play gets here, the Vaqueros are going to be ready. They've stepped up and lived up to every challenge so far, and we'll see how they handle the weeks ahead. So. That wraps up our week 3 preview of the UTRGV Vaqueros taking on Langston at 7 p.m. Saturday at Vacker Stadium. But before we leave, we're going to throw in this interview here with San Benito alumnus and current UTRGV redshirt sophomore offensive lineman Frank Medina. Just a real story just about grit and perseverance and overcoming the odds to earn a scholarship at UTRGV. So to go from a walk-on tryout guy to earning a scholarship, starting at D1 D1 football, it's just really remarkable. Ivan, just your thoughts on Frank overall, and just a Valley boy grinding and showing some grit and earning something in the scholarship.
Yeah, I mean Frank the Tank is what they call him, man, and the kid is that he's a tank, dude, and you know he's pushed through some things and got into where he's at. I mean, I'm sure he was told he would never play D1 football. He went to Kingsville, now he's here at UTRGV and earned that spot, man. You talk about a grinder, he grinded for that, and you know I got the chance to saw him play when he played at San Benito, and you know his eye mask, you know the all black, you know it's a scary sight, dude. You know he's not the biggest, but you see that across from you, the dude's scary. But no, I mean, guy's resilient. He's just mentally tough, physically tough, and he's the kind of guy you want on your team, especially when you're building a programming. The guy just, you know, he does everything for you, and you know, he brings that sort of, you know, mental and physical toughness, like I said, to that squad. And just what a story, man. You know, proud of him, especially being from the Valley. Seeing that kind of resiliency and earning that spot it's awesome to see.
Yeah, yeah. Frank's just a real gem and grinding it, and you know what I mean. And I know he received a scholarship, but he said, "Hey, that don't mean nothing. I still got to work for it. I still got to come out here and grind every day." And that's what college football is, man. And Frank has, you know what I mean, chased his dreams and was relentless in chasing those. And now here he is, man, starting on the offensive line for the UTRG Vaqueros in their inaugural season. So, without further ado, here's Frank Medina, San Benito alumnus, UTRGV offensive lineman, right guard, starter at the D1 level. Here he is. Let's start off with the good news, man. That you earn a scholarship,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You're not given, man. Everything earned. So, what does that mean to you, man? To earn that opportunity and have all your work here recognized by the coaches and the staff, and to receive that opportunity.
It means a lot to me. I work very hard. I'm still gonna work very hard because just because I got it already doesn't mean like I'm gonna slow down. If anything, it's a job now. I'm getting paid to do this, and I want to be the very best. If I'm getting paid, I want to be the best at what I do. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna keep working. But very happy, very excited to keep going. Get to live close to campus now. Mm-hmm. So it's a big blessing.
And so for you, man, I mean, let's start back in Kingsville, man. I know that didn't go how you wanted, but when you were there in your when things were down, when you know what I mean, things that didn't seem so bright. Did you ever picture being here now, where you are, scholarship D1 athlete, starter, first program here in your home area?
Honestly, no, I did not. I didn't even know if I was not to be dark or anything, but I didn't know I was gonna be alive the next month or week, just because everything was very negative in my mind. Thankfully, I pushed through. Thank my mom, thank everybody I talked to about it, and very, like I said, blessings, very good blessings. Hard work, and but no, to answer your question, I did not think I was going to be here.
living life and then had to chase his dream also, right? So how did you juggle that? I mean, I know you were working and traveling from San Benito over here, man. So how are you able to juggle that and to still be locked in and all the hours that you guys put in here with the football team and class and everything? How are you able to kind of juggle both and to lock in and be able to handle that?
I always see like playing football is a privilege, and everybody could do it, especially in the Valley.
Mhm.
So when I was given an opportunity to do this, I want to make sure I gave it my all.
Mhm.
If I had to do it, like donating plasma, if I had to do it, if I had to do it right now, I'll do it again.
Mhm.
If I have to drive back and forth, I'll do it again. Everything I did, uh, like I said, it's a big privilege just to play this sport, especially at this level.
Mhm.
And I feel like even now that I'm still playing, I'm given a responsibility, especially just to represent the Valley. And yeah, like I said, I'll do everything again I had to do. Big responsibility,
Mhm.
big blessing.
And so the offensive lineman, it's a dirty job, a thankless job. You know what I mean? And then the way you kind of grinded your way through everything, it's kind of there's some similarities. You know what I mean? Keeping your head down and working, man. So are there? Do you think that playing the offensive line and the toughness that's required to play be a football player there, did that kind of how does that kind of shape your mentality and the way you would attack this thing?
Just playing offensive line, it's dirty work. Exactly like you said, put your head down and work.
Mm.
It does a lot on your mental. You got to be mentally strong to be able to handle it, especially when Coach Bowen's yelling at you.
Mhm.
So you got to be mentally tough. And when I going back to when I was like dealing with everything in my mind, I was able to use football as an outlet because I'd rather be hurting on the field from being tired than be like physically mentally down, mentally on my hard on myself. So like I said, it's a very big privilege just to be playing football right now,
Mhm.
and yeah, I just honestly it's hardworking. O-line just taught me a lot to be a hard worker, just to never doubt myself, and a bunch of brothers.
And then for you, man, I mean, what was it like just making those trips coming from San Benito? I know you had to find rides and stuff like that, and like as you said, donating plasma and things like that. So, what, how are you able to just find a way? You know, what I mean, doing whatever it takes to pursue your dreams.
Just finding a way. I got shout out to my mom. She, we don't have a lot even now, and she just told me basically to follow my dreams. If I want to do this, do it. But she always told me if I want to do it, do it. If I don't want to do it anymore, then it's my choice. And she just, she sacrificed a lot for me to do this. And knowing that she sacrificed a lot for me, I can't just quit or give up. So there's days on the field when I'm on the field and I'm exhausted, don't want to be here, don't want to do this. And when I'm not thinking about me, I think about my mom. I'm like, well, I don't do it for myself, do it for my mom too.
Mm.
And so she's a big reason why I did that traveling back and forth. And driving 45 minutes plus a day it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. So there'll be days after practice I'll be going home tired, with AC on full blast just to keep me awake from how cold it is.
Yeah.
But it's just like I said, if I had to do it again, I'll do it again. And honestly, shout out to my mom.
Absolutely, man. Can nothing happen without them,
Yes,
right? So now let's take it to the moment you received the news, man. How did Coach Bush or Coach Bowen, how did they spring that on you? What was that interaction like when you found out that you earned that scholarship?
I was in class and Coach Bowen texted me to meet him at his office, and I was like, "Oh, what did I do?" And so I met him. I went to his office. I met him there, and once he walks in, he's like going for a play that I messed up on. I was like, "Oh, okay, it's about this."
Mm.
So then he's like, after we go over the play, he's like, "Come with me." So we go make our way to Coach Bush's office. I'm scared. I've never been in there. I thought I was in trouble or something. And Coach Bush walks in, and he just very blunt, actually, very blunt. He's like, he was, he's like, he basically just told me like, I earned it. I've been working hard, and it was a very surreal moment. It's a goal I've been working for,
Mm.
and now that I achieved that goal, it makes room for more new goals, and I can work on those now. Now like I said, I'm very blessed to receive it, and again, like I said, it's like a job now. Like not saying it wasn't a job before, because it was everything's a job here,
Yeah.
but now it's like I gotta put even more effort, more of my best foot forward, and just to be able to accomplish my job.
I don't know. You talked about your mom. Do you have any brothers or sisters or anything?
Yes, sir. I have one older brother and three sisters. One older sister and two younger.
Nice, man. And so you're there in the
I'm the middle child. Yes,
Nice,
sir.
man. So what was that moment like where you told your family, whether it was your mom or your brothers and sisters, what was that moment like for you, and what did that mean to you to be able to share that and show them, hey, man, everything that's been going on, 45 minutes away there in Edinburgh, it's this is the results of it.
It was very like surreal. It was very surreal. Unfortunately, when I called my mom and sister, they were both at work.
Mm.
So it's like my sister works at a special needs. She
Mm.
works for she's a teacher. My mom, she works at she's a manager of a pawn shop. So they're both working.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll call you later. I'll text you later.
Mm-hmm.
But they were very happy for me, very supportive. My whole family is very supportive of me. And once I got home, just a bunch of hugs, a bunch of good jobs and everything. And honestly, that's all I can ask for. I don't need anything special. I don't need no big celebration. I just want to make them proud. That's all I need.
Nice, man, and just a couple more, man. Um, so I mean, you guys played at home 2 weeks ago, and you get to do it again, back-to-back games this week. But what has it been like, man? Just being a Valley guy, one of the starters there on the offensive line, taking the field here, making history with UTRGV, and just what has it all been like, man? Has it all hit you that, hey, man, this is all real, this is all history that we're making every single game and everything? So, and looking at the sold out crowd and everything. Just what were those moments like for you?
It was very exciting. I haven't played a football game like actually officially since 2022 of my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And San Benito, we have big crowds, and it's very exciting. And be able to get back on that field as a starting player, and just from the Valley too, seeing the whole crowds, seeing the whole stands full. It brings me back to those days, and even seeing my family in those stands. Yeah, it gets me emotional because I want to be my best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And even not even just my family, my coaches were there. Some people I knew from high school, even people that I don't know at all, but they know me.
Mm-hmm.
It puts a responsibility on me. It's like I got to do my very best just for them. And I want to get put on my butt in front of my mom. So
That's 2 games. Let's look back at Prairie View. You guys are down in the fourth quarter, and then you guys had to rely on that offensive line, that running game to get going, and you guys pulled through. What did you learn about yourselves as an offense, as a unit, as a team, just in general, for the defense to make those stops and offense to come through when you guys needed it, and especially running behind that O line?
As a unit, we're always together. I had a mistake in the fourth quarter. I jumped off sides. That's on me. I got to fix it. And I was down on myself. But my own line and my unit, they came and they brought me up. They told me that so we still have time on the clock. Just get that play out of your head and just go for the next one. Next 12 minutes, we drove down the field and we scored.
Mm-hmm.
So I love my old line, man. I wouldn't know. I don't know what kind of player I'll be without these guys here. And just going back to that game, very good defense. Very first D1 program we played against, and I feel like the adversity we faced was very like we needed it as a unit to know, like, to get better, to just be better players in practice.
Yeah.
And again, like my old line, everybody, Eddie, everybody's they're all very supportive. But yeah, we're gonna get better. We're gonna get better as a unit. I won't make no more foolish penalties, and we get better every day.
And I gotta sneak this one in there, man. I know you're talking when you mess up on when you jump a false start. I mean, I know that's all you think about, but I think on the TJ's men run, you were pulling and you kicked out, right?
Sir,
right?
yes, that was me.
So to give yourself a little credit, man,
Yes, sir.
make a big play to spring that touchdown run, man.
Yes,
So just what was that like, man? I know offensive line, like we said, it's a thankless, dirty job. You're pulling there, getting your nose dirty, you know what I mean? Putting your face mask in somebody and springing that touchdown run. So what is that moment like as an offensive lineman, knowing that, hey, man, they're calling this play, it's designed to come behind you, and then you come through and see TJ and end up in the end zone?
It's a big responsibility. In the first quarter, I did pull. I got blown up. I got put on my knee. And I just had to refresh. I had to, it's my responsibility to pull. Of course, I want to blow that guy up. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I made a solid block. TJ made the gap and made his touchdown. It's very, all the work's mostly to TJ. He's a shifty guy, fast guy, good running back. But just to know that I did my job and he was able to get his job done, and we made a bigger outcome. So it feels pretty good.
Hell yeah, man.
Shout out to Frank Medina and thank him for being, an open book and sharing his story, a story of perseverance and just battling through off the field issues, to stay on the field and chase his dreams. And we wish him all the best, man. So Ivan, that wraps up kind of this episode of the Valley Ball podcast, breaking down UTRGV football. Anything you want to leave the UTRGV football fans with as we get started for week 3 of the college football regular season?
Yeah, man, let's get everyone out there again. Everyone showed out week 1. Let's keep that momentum going here as, the boys are back home for the next 2 weeks. And so all the haters, man, just sit back and enjoy the show because you know what? We're going to ride or die with these Vaqueros. And, as long as they keep winning, losing, we're going to be out there. So just sit back, enjoy it.
Yeah, if they're hating now that UTRGV is just 2-0, wait till a couple weeks when they're 4-0. You know what I mean? So we'll see how we'll check in with how they're doing then. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Valley Ball Podcast, talking UTRGV Vaqueros football in the Rio Grande Valley. For Ivan, for myself, thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you next time.